Hi, my name is Lydia Hale Fassett, and I'm presenting for my class EDU 1107 on Erikson's Stages of Psychosocial Development. I'll take you through the stages, and then at the end I'll talk about some problems and strengths for them. Then I'll talk about why it's relevant in your classroom, and then finally I've got some questions that I'll ask you at the end. So, speaking of those questions and so on, in the link in the post where you found this, you'll see that there are also 3 different things you can download. Because of what we've been learning about differentiation, I made you a graphic organizer, so you can take notes on this. I gave you the list of the citations, so you can follow up on anything further you'd like to do. And then, for those of you who are more visual learners, I have the questions printed out so that you can respond to them from the text instead of having to, wait, what was that thing that she said? And of course, through the wonderful wonders of video, you can pause, you can rewind. I'm going to be showing you these names of the stages on pieces of paper, as well as reading them out, hopefully getting auditory and visual learners. Sorry, haptic and kinesthetic video doesn't really work that well for you. All right, so these stages take you through your entire life, from birth to, well, the other end. So, stage 1. Stage 1 is trust and versus mistrust. So this is from about birth to 1 year. So, in this stage, well, there's not much babies can do. All they can do, and everything that they can do, is dependent on their caretaker. So if they trust the caretaker, then they will feel safe and secure. If they fail to trust the caretaker, they will believe that the world is inconsistent and unpredictable. So, let's say we have a little kid, Eric, and his caregiver leaves sometimes, but comes back. Eric knows, all right, if I do the thing where I close my eyes and then suddenly time passes, he wakes up in the same place. As he gets older and he tries to react to things, the caretaker emotionally reacts to him. Eric is going to end up having a good level of trust. If, however, his caretaker is completely inconsistent, or rejects him, or is emotionally unavailable, is the term that Cherry used, then he's going to not be able to really trust the world. To him, the caretaker was the world, and you can't trust that. He's going to be fearful. He won't trust that things will stay the same. So this is what happens in the first stage. Then, stage 2, autonomy versus shame and doubt, ages 2 to 3 years. All right, so by this age, the child can do a few more things. There are areas of personal control, toilet training, choosing when to go, choices in food, clothes. All right, I can start making decisions. I can start sort of feeling, can I survive in this whole world? So if the child's autonomy is enhanced, the child can make some decisions, can go away from a caretaker and return, has a sense of being his or her own person. The child will end up being secure and confident. Again, Cherry. If, however, the child can't make decisions and is discouraged in these independent attempts, he will be plagued by inadequacy and self-doubt. Again, Cherry. All the best lines are from Cherry. So, we have Eric. He is allowed to choose what color shirt he wants to wear. All right, he's asked, do you need to go to the bathroom? And maybe encouraged, but it's not. They take him in and they plop him down. His mother lets him go away a little bit and then come back, and he knows, okay, yeah, I can do this. I can do this whole world thing. If, however, every time he tries to leave his caretaker, the caretaker grabs him and drags him back. Okay, all right, I'm learning not to go. If he has no feelings of control, just the world, I can't do anything in this world. I can't even choose what color shirt I'm wearing. Then he's going to just doubt himself. All right, the world doesn't want me to control anything. Maybe I shouldn't. All right, so next stage is stage 3, initiative versus guilt, 3 to 5 years. So this is a time of big changes for kids. They might go from home or from daycare to preschool. They're interacting differently. They can assert themselves. They feel they can lead others, make decisions. They're developing self-initiative. So if this stage is passed through successfully, little Eric is feeling that, wait, all right, so I'm in preschool and I have an idea and I talk about it and people listen to me. All right. And I can make more of those decisions for myself. Instead of just choosing the color shirt, I also got to choose what sandwich I wanted. He's going to develop self-initiative. Whereas if he's never allowed to choose anything, people ignore him whenever he tries to have ideas. He's going to have a sense of guilt. He's always going to feel like a nuisance. Well, the world obviously doesn't want me here. I'm sorry, I'm taking up space. Are you using the air? Because I didn't need to use the air if you were going to. So, next up is stage 4. Industry, as in competences, not as in heavy manufacturing, versus inferiority. This is ages 6 through 12. So, elementary school, the beginning of middle school. At this point, the person is completing projects, feeling good about what he or she did. This is, in the school years, schoolwork is an important part of this, but then other things outside, maybe in clubs, maybe just sort of setting him or herself goals and then accomplishing them. Even something as simple as making a meal. So, if we have little Eric again, all right, so I started out, I decided I was hungry, and so I wanted a sandwich. And so, all right, I figured out, all right, get the bread, get this, put the jam, put the peanut butter, all right, and then I put it through, and my goal was a sandwich, and I got my goal. I also got a really messy kitchen, but still, I got the sandwich, and I helped clean it up. So he feels confident. All right, I can do this stuff. I can achieve things in my life. Whereas if he goes and every time it's, no, you're too young. No, you can't make your own sandwich. You can't, you can't do that. Then he's going to doubt himself constantly. He won't be able to reach his potential. He won't want to take the initiative because every time he did, he'll just get slapped down. The next stage, as we're into late middle school, high school, is one that will be familiar to anyone who's taught teenagers, been in the same room as teenagers, or has been a teenager him or herself. So, stage 5, identity versus role confusion, ages 13 through 18. So, at this point, the person is figuring out, all right, I know I can do these things, or I know I can't do things, but who am I? So, if in this exploration of who the individual is, he or she is encouraged and reinforced, then they'll have a sense of, yeah, I know who I am. I'm an independent person. I'm not the same as my parents or other family members, and I can have some control over aspects of my life. Not everything, but I'm figuring it out. And if they are unsure, every time they have a belief or a desire, they're slapped down. They'll feel insecure and confused. So we have Eric. And he comes from a long line of poets. And he tells his parents, Mom, Dad, I've decided I don't want to go to poetry school and become a poet like everyone else. I want to be an accountant. So, he's told his parents this. And maybe they swallow hard, they stare at each other, and they say, well, we love you, and we want you to be happy. Have you thought through, okay, do you have a good plan for this? And they support him. Maybe they don't think it's a good idea. Maybe they think his poetry is great and his accountancy is horrible. But he's still getting a sense, yeah, I can be different. Whereas if he shows up and says the same stuff and they say, no, you're wrong. You want to be a poet. then he's going to be questioning himself. Well, I thought I wanted to be an accountant, but well, I guess I don't know who I really am. Who am I? So he's going to just be insecure and confused throughout the rest of his life unless he resolves this. All right. Next up, stage 6. At this point, the stages start getting really long. So, stage 6, intimacy versus isolation, young adulthood, ages 18 through 40. So, at this point, the person has figured out how to exist in the world, who he or she is, and now is looking for somebody else, wanting to share, to be open to a partner, to be able to be intimate with people in many ways, emotional, intellectual. If the person has success, there will be comfortable relationships. If there's a lack of success, isolation and loneliness ensue. So if Erik goes out and, well, not everyone he approaches is interested, but some people are, and he's able to develop relationships, he's able to find somebody he wants to spend his life with, if that's what he wants, he's going to feel comfortable. He'll have a network of friends. Whereas if every time he goes out, he's just instantly rejected, he's going to feel isolated, he's going to feel lonely, he can be at risk for a lot of problems that way. So, next up, stage 7. Stage 7, generativity versus stagnation, middle adulthood, ages 40 through 65. So, at this age, people will often think about, how can I give back? They will want to do things for the community, sort of making their mark on it. Maybe doing it but through family, professional organizations, jobs, so many different things. And they'll feel productive, they'll feel energetic, generative. They can do this. And if they can't, they're stagnant and unproductive. So Erik has met his partner, raises a family, and he's able to contribute to his community. He feels he's a good, useful person to have around. If, however, every attempt he makes at this is slapped down, he's going to be thinking, well, I'm just not really that good at stuff. And everything I do, I go in to work every day and I just crank the widgets and it's never any different. He's going to feel stagnant, unproductive, stuck. So, finally, stage 8. I made this small on the graphic organizer because I figured most of you wouldn't be teaching people at this age. Stage 8, ego identity versus despair. Old age, 65 plus. So, at this age, people are looking back on their life. If they feel they've lived a successful life, and success can be measured in many ways, then they can look back with integrity. If they feel unproductive or guilty, they'll look back with despair and dissatisfaction. So Erik looks back, life wasn't perfect, but I'm happy overall. He'll feel good about himself. He won't despair. Whereas he looks back, the world would have been better without me. Then he will despair and he will be unhappy. So, problems and strengths. The biggest strength, I thought, was what McLeod said, that there's plenty of room for continued growth and development throughout your life with these. You're not locked into one personality at the beginning. There are some problems with this, though. This is Freudian-based, and I know some people have problems with Freud. Some of it is very much of its time, especially some of the things closer to his original work that I was reading. He was born in 1902, so some of the ideas are a little dated. Some people also feel it may not apply to all cultures, that this is more of a modern Western way of going through life, and that it may be changing. Also, some of these words are buzzwords in certain types of parenting, so they can almost be fighting words if used in the wrong context. But what does it matter? This can help your students achieve. The conflicts give you an idea of things that might interest students at each stage. Not everyone hits each milestone at the same time, but you don't want to ask a baby if she's happy with, what have you done with your life? Is this good? So, your 4 questions. How do Erikson's stages work together with other concepts from this class to explain a child's development? What are ways this information can be useful to you in teaching and life? What effect does it have to see personality as something that can be changed versus something static and fixed from a young age? Do you think these stages are relevant to people today? Are the ages accurate, or should any of them be changed? All right, thank you. That was Erikson's Psychosocial Development. Thanks. Bye.